Hello class, I'm going to go ahead and get you started on step 8. Okay, so we're going to be using our DialCalipers in order to measure, it says 7, there's going to be 4 items that I provide. Okay, for each item you're going to record the measurement. Okay, then you're going to compare your answers with a partner. If your answers are precise, you're going to put an X in the precise column. If your answers are not precise, then you're going to remeasure and edit your answer. Okay. The way we're going to determine if they are precise is if the two answers or the two measurements are within 3/1000ths of one another. Okay. If they are not precise, then you're going to want to recheck your measurements and find out who has an inaccurate measurement and correct that. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started with the DialCaliper. All right. So first thing you're going to want to do when you're looking at the DialCaliper. All right, you're going to want to make sure that your blade is completely closed. Okay, when the blade is completely closed, you should see the arrow pointing towards a 0. If for some reason your arrow is not pointing towards a 0, and I'll show you what that would look like, okay, that means it's not calibrated. All right, so the way to calibrate it would be our calibration dial, or knob, we're going to loosen, then we're going to turn the dial until the 0 and the arrow are lined up. And then we're going to tighten our calibration knob. Okay. Now I should not be able to easily move my dial. Okay. So it is now calibrated. Anytime you use the caliper, make sure that when it's closed, the arrow is pointing towards a 0. All right. Now to open and close our caliper, this is our adjustment tool, our adjustment knob that allows us to open and close. All right. If for some reason you are not able to open or close your caliper, it would be because it is locked currently. This knob allows you to lock your caliper in place. Okay, so you can see right now I cannot adjust my caliper with the knob. That means I need to loosen my lock knob so that I can then use my caliper. Okay, so let's get it back to the closed position. Now, the 4 objects I will be measuring, I have a yellow gear, I have a red propeller, I have a black pulley, and then last but not least, I have a motor. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the yellow one, and we will do that one together. Okay, so I'm going to be measuring the thickness of the gear's rim. All right, so what I'm going to do is open up my caliper. Let's zoom this out a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to open up my caliper using my adjustment tool. All right, and then I'm going to put it around the thickness and close it so that it is measuring the thickness of my gear. All right, so let's zoom in so I can get a reading now. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and read my caliper to get the measurement. Okay, so remember the large numbers are the inch marks. So we've got the 0 here. We're not at the 1 inch mark yet. Okay, the marks in between are 1/10 of an inch. Okay, so right now we're in between 0 and 1 inch. Okay, and we're actually past the 2/10 of an inch mark. And now I'm going to read my dial to get the measurement for the thousandths. So I've got 2/10 and 35/1000. Okay. So my measurement ends up being 0 inches, point, 2/10, 35/1000. So 235/1000ths of an inch. Okay, and I'll include my unit because I'm measuring in inches. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I am going to measure the diameter of the axial hole. So actually, the diameter would be the axial hole is in the inside. I want to know how wide that hole is, what the diameter is. Now to measure inside of something, I'm actually going to use the top part of my caliper, okay? Because that allows me to measure inside of something. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the caliper inside of the gear axial hole, all right? And then I'm going to use my adjustment tool to open up the caliper until we're no longer open, okay? And then I'm going to read what the measurement is on my caliper, okay? So in this case, let's see if it adjusts so you can see it. It's a little blurry. Maybe if I zoom in. All right, there we go. So my reading is I've got the 0-inch mark. I'm not at the 1-inch mark yet. I am just past the 1/10, okay? And my thousandths part, it looks like it's got into the 6, so it would be 0.106 thousandths, okay? So 0.106 thousandths of an inch, okay? And remember, make sure you're checking your measurements with a partner to see if your measurements are precise. For these examples, you can check them against mine, okay? For the rest of them, I'm just going to show you what it is that you're measuring, okay? But I will let you use the, take these measurements yourself, okay? So I'm measuring the space between the teeth on the gear, okay? So to do that, I'm going to use the inside measurement part, okay? And I'm going between the teeth, all right? So on that outside part. Okay, and that would measure between the teeth, all right? For the propeller blade, for the thickness of the propeller blade, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rotate my propeller, and I'm going to put my dial caliper and clamp it on to the caliper to read what the thickness would be, and then I get my measurement, okay? To find the diameter of the axial hole in my red propeller, okay? I'm going to close my caliper completely. I'm going to insert the caliper inside measurement tool, the top part, into the axial hole. So it's difficult. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and open it up until it doesn't move anymore. All right, and then I'm going to read my measurement. All right, I recommend you use the bottom hole. Okay, do not measure from the top hole because the top hole is actually a little bit smaller. Use the hole that's on the bottom of your propeller blade. And then the width of your propeller blade. Okay, so we're going all the way across from one end to. Oh, sorry. The width of the propeller blade is actually going to be from here to here. Is going to be your width of your propeller blade. So you would find the thickest part of your propeller blade. You've got a part over here that is skinny and a part over here that is thick. So you're going to find the thickest part, and then you're going to clamp your caliper on and take a look at what the measurement would be. Okay. Now for the black pulley, you're going to be measuring the diameter of the pulley. Okay. So you're going to want to make sure that you line your caliper up so that it is at the thickest part of your pulley. Okay. It should be running through the center mark to make sure that that is actually the diameter that you're measuring, and then you're going to go ahead and clamp it on and take your measurement. For the radius of the pulley, okay, same sort of thing, except this time you're measuring from the center of the circle, all right, to the outside of the circle, and that would be the radius, okay. Be careful here because you actually do not want to clamp down, because if you clamp down completely, it would not be the center of the circle, so you actually are going to want your point to be right at the middle of the circle. So this is one of the ones that you wouldn't want to clamp down, okay. So that means it's probably not going to be quite as precise as some of our other ones. I'm also going to measure the diameter of the pulley's groove, okay? So I will use the inside measurement tool, which is on the top, okay? And I want to try to measure the widest part of it, okay? So I'm going to open it up and get the inside measurement of the inside groove, okay? All right, now for the motor, I want to measure the thickness of the axle. All right, so here's the axle. I'm going to clamp my caliper onto the axle, and that will give me the thickness of the axle. Second side, I want the height of the motor. All right. Height of the motor, and when I say the height, don't include the axle and don't include the part at the other end. Okay, so just the actual part that has the motor assembly. Okay, so the metal part. All right, and then lastly, the diameter of the motor itself. So you would clamp it onto the outside of your motor, and you would measure what the reading was to get the diameter of your motor. Okay, so make sure you check your answers with your partner for precision, and best of luck to you.